She hands it off to Jackson. Jackson uses the screen, lost the handle, bounced past to Plum. Plum loses it, regains it, throws it up for grabs. Grabbed by Boston out of the sky, and we're going to have a foul here. No, a timeout taken by Indiana.
What I love the most about this squad is that, just like O said, like we instill confidence, the coach instills confidence that any shot you take, shoot it with confidence because we trust you and we trust that you're going to make it. And I feel like that's just really helped us down the line because no matter who comes in, no matter who steps up, we're all just really happy for each other.
After the final buzzer, Aliyah Boston dropped a line that had every single Fever fan talking. But she didn't just say it. She went out there and proved it. In a season where Indiana has been bruised by injuries, she exploded for 22 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, and snagged a career-high 6 steals, sealing it all with the game-winning defensive stop. So what exactly was she trying to tell us with those words? That's what we're diving into, because her post-game message might just explain how the Fever pulled off their biggest win of the year. And even with injuries stacking up and momentum feeling shaky, one unexpected hero lit the fire that slammed the door on LA. Let's break down how this moment completely shifted Indiana's season. If you believe this was the turning point for the Fever, comment "Big Fever win tonight" and let everyone know you were here for it.
Fever down! Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah!
How do you find a way to win when nearly half your roster is stuck in street clothes? That was the cloud hanging over Indiana as they stepped into Los Angeles. Caitlin Clark was on the sideline, Sophie Cunningham ruled out, and both Sydney Carlson and Ari McDonald unavailable. For guards, for playmakers, for trusted voices ripped out of the rotation. For most teams, that's the kind of setback that ends any hope in a game with playoff implications. But Indiana didn't have the luxury of folding. They walked in with nothing but grit, urgency, and absolute faith in the players still standing. And somehow, that was enough to fight back and keep their season alive.
Resilient, nature of our team. I think one other thing that sometimes goes missed is just the character of these women, right? Especially this group that's been here, that's gone through all of this, and then the ones that we brought in. We brought in with O and Che and AP. I mean, these are women who care about winning. These are women who care about one another. These are women who sacrifice every single day.
It wasn't just the injury report that made this night heavy. This wasn't some throwaway regular season game in August. This one had weight. The Sparks weren't just another team on the schedule. They were the team that had owned Indiana all year. 3 meetings, 3 defeats. Each one a little more bitter than the last. And the standings only turned up the pressure. The Fever were hanging on to 6th place by their fingernails, barely holding a playoff spot, while Los Angeles sat just 2 games back in 9th, waiting for a chance to strike. One slip, and that cushion could vanish overnight. Add to that 4 losses in their last 5 games, and the whispers had started turning into real questions. Was this team running out of gas right when the finish line was in sight?
Steph mentioned, whenever she sees you with the 2 black eyes, she smiles in a way because it just exemplifies your toughness. Do you feel tough in these kinds of situations with these 2 black eyes?
I mean, that's what people keep telling me. Every time she sees me, she smiles and then she says, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, you don't need to be sorry. This is what it is. And when I'm playing, I forget about it, and then I go and look at the mirror. I'm like, oh shit, they're still there. So yeah, I don't really think too much about it because I don't necessarily feel them all the time.
Yeah, and you're still able to see completely fine.
Yep.
All right.
Nothing's changed.
All right, perfect.
Picture the challenge. A team that seemed fragile to anyone watching from the outside. With only 5 games left in the season, they were now forced to patch things together and somehow stay afloat. At this point, it wasn't about chasing a perfect rhythm or looking polished. It became a fight to survive every single possession, every trip down the floor. That mindset turned into their new blueprint. Every player who got minutes had to push themselves beyond their comfort zone, doing more than their usual role ever required. Anyone who stepped on the court had to carry responsibility bigger than their stat line and play as if the season depended on it.
Originally, I was like, I just need to get the swelling to go down in my forehead. So I put a patch, slept with it. The next day, woke up and I was like, okay, the bump is almost gone, but now I have 2 black eyes. So that was tragic. but I mean, it's at this point, it's unfortunately won't be able to hide it. People know, so just rolling with it.
Were you able to hide it for the photo shoots?
Makeup artist did a really, really, really good job, and people that hadn't met me before were like, "Oh, I can't even tell." I'm like, "Okay, that's good. We'll take it." But I'm hoping they'll do some editing in the post.
Bruised but unshaken, there was Lexi Hull. She wasn't just out there playing. She was battling with everything she had, even with both eyes bruised from that brutal collision with Gabby Williams in the previous game. 2 black eyes, and she still threw herself into defenders, dove for loose balls, and fought her way through screens like nothing could slow her down. Hull became the living example of what the Fever needed that night: toughness, resilience, and a refusal to back down. Her presence was more than just minutes on the court. It was a statement. If she could fight through the pain and keep going, then everyone else in Indiana Red had no excuse not to do the same.
Yeah, I imagine on Tuesday you got checked for concussion, facial fracture. Just how much of a sigh of relief was it that you didn't have concussion or any kind of fracture in your face?
Yeah, honestly, when it happened, I was like relieved because I could feel myself like I was good to go. Like I felt completely with it. They did all the tests they needed to do and put ice on it right away, try to keep the swelling down. But I felt good knowing that like obviously it could have been a lot worse, and I'm grateful for the people online wanting to check on me and make sure that I'm okay, but I'm okay. I've been fully checked out. So
that was what set this game apart. It wasn't about flashy plays or highlight reel passes anymore. Every defensive stop, every rebound, every single basket carried a sense of desperation and purpose. One big run from LA could have ended things in an instant, but the Fever refused to break. They rose to the challenge, matching LA's intensity possession by possession, and kept pushing back against a team desperate to close the gap in the standings.
I like that we dug in. It wasn't ideal in terms of how the game was. It was ugly. We had moments where we were better than others, but we dug in. I mean, when you think about key defensive stops, key offensive rebounds, like AB's key offensive rebound there at the end, making plays, deflections that led to steals or deflections that led to bobbled passes.
By standing tall under relentless pressure, Indiana created the perfect moment for an unlikely hero to emerge. The grit and determination of that short-handed squad opened the door for a veteran who had been quietly waiting for her chance to step into the spotlight. What if the player nobody saw coming turned out to be the one who could finish the job? That's exactly what unfolded when Odyssey Sims took the floor in Los Angeles. Just think about it. This night was supposed to be about survival, a patched-together roster simply hoping to hang on long enough to steal a win. And yet, somehow, a 31-year-old veteran who didn't even start became the heartbeat and emotional engine of the game. For Sims, the moment carried extra weight because of the opponent across from her. She once wore the Sparks jersey herself, and that personal history seemed to light a fire under every possession she played. You could see it in her energy, in her focus. This was more than just another game for her.
Sims left open for 3. She got it. Offensive rebound, Sims the runner. Here's Howard. Shovels Sims right at the doorstep, and she gets it off the window. 3-on-3 the other way. Sims the take and finishes the lefty layup.
At this stage in her career, no one really expects a backup guard to step in and take control of the entire offense. Her name isn't the one opposing coaches highlight on the scouting report the way they do Aliyah Boston or Caitlin Clark. But when your top scorer, Kelsey Mitchell, goes cold, just 5 makes on 14 shots, that's usually when things begin to fall apart. Instead, Sims refused to let that happen. She became the solution. She played with poise and purpose, making quick decisions and never second-guessing herself. Every possession felt urgent, and she handled each one as if she had been preparing for this exact moment her entire career. Calm, fearless, and ready to deliver.
Down by Plum. Plum 1-on-2, ripped away there by Sims.
Great play by Odyssey Sims. Played the ball.
3-on-3 the other way. Sims the take and finishes the lefty layup.
Her numbers only scratched the surface of what really happened. Sure, 21 points looked good on paper, but it was when she scored that made the difference. Every bucket seemed to come exactly when Indiana needed it most. She stayed composed under pressure, speeding up the pace when the Fever needed a spark and slowing things down when Los Angeles started building momentum. And then came the final minutes. Deep in the fourth quarter, the ball kept finding its way to her. She attacked the lane through heavy traffic, nailed mid-range pull-ups, and created her own looks off the dribble. These weren't just bonus plays from a role player. She became the engine of the offense, the go-to option everyone trusted when the game was on the line.
The lead back up to 3. Sims left open for 3. She got it. Odyssey Sims with the triple to tie this one up at 74 apiece. Got the offensive rebound out to Mitchell. Here's Hole curling. Hole down the lane. The kick out Sims. Sims in the paint. The runner good. They put Turner on the inbound. Alaman inbounds it to Wnba, and so now that'll be that. So the Indiana Fever come into here.
The defining moment came with just 13.6 seconds left on the clock. Indiana's hopes were hanging by a thread. The game balanced on a single possession. The ball found her hands, and without hesitation, she rose into that signature floater she spent years perfecting. Pure. It slipped through the net without touching the rim. That was the shot, the one that put Indiana ahead for good and sucked the noise out of Staples Center. As she jogged back on defense, you could almost see the weight lift off the Fever. Her arms stayed relaxed, her face calm, as if she'd known all along that the game would end in her hands, and that she was ready to own the moment.
Yeah, obviously 5 straight points for you to help take the lead at the end of the game. Just what was that mindset for you in those final seconds?
I didn't shoot the ball well from the 3. I was over before I made that shot, but I didn't lose confidence. I think my teammates did a great job, along with the coaches, just constantly talking to me. They weren't worried about my missed shots. It just came down to continue to play. They believe in me so much, so that helped me. And when I shot it, I was open. It was one of those do or die. It went in, and I was excited about that. Like I said, I was open from the 3, but we got the W, so it feels great.
Later, when the microphones were in her face, Sims didn't give a long speech or dramatic soundbite. She just repeated the words she's built her career around. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That simple line perfectly summed up Indiana's entire night. No excuses, no panic, just preparation meeting the moment. Because of Odyssey Sims, the Fever didn't just leave with a win on the scoreboard. They left with something far more valuable. Proof that their resilience is real, that it's more than just a cliche they repeat in the locker room. It's who they are when the game is on the line.
Just going off just like the last few years, just up and down, in the league, out the league, hardship, contract being cut, all of that stuff. Really doesn't matter. I think I'm a human definition of you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I think every opportunity that has been given to me, I'm taking full advantage of it. These opportunities that you can't let slip away. You never know what tomorrow brings. You never know, you be on the team one day, go on the next day. So just being able to come in and just stay ready, have my energy flow to my teammates, and just be positive. Like I said, I'm with a good group.
And as brilliant as Sims was, she didn't do it by herself. Right there with her was the heart and anchor of the Fever's identity, Aliyah Boston. She didn't just dominate the paint. She made a statement every time she touched the ball. Her presence on both ends of the floor reminded everyone why she's the cornerstone of this team. And the way she carried herself left fans talking long after the final buzzer.
Sparks started the game on a 7-0 run. Here's Mitchell. Right back to Boston. And unable to get that one, but follows her on. Cameron Brink and Ray Burrell going to be checking in next time there's a stoppage for LA. Here's Turner in traffic, and she gets it up off the window.
Beautiful pass from Boston.
7 on the shot clock. Mitchell turning the corner. Jump stop in the lane, loses the ball. Brink throws it right to Boston. Easy layup.
All game long, Aliyah Boston seemed to be building toward one question. What exactly did she mean when she teased that cryptic message after the final buzzer? If you watch closely, though, it felt like she was already delivering her answer in real time. She didn't just put up numbers. She left her fingerprints on every single aspect of the game. 22 points powering the offense, 11 rebounds bullying the Sparks frontcourt for assists to keep the ball humming, and 6 steals, the most she's ever recorded in a single game. Performances like that don't usually come from one player in one night, but Boston carried both ends of the floor with a calm dominance that made it look routine.
Julie Alamam, 5 points here tonight. They go high-low, and Boston the beneficiary. That's the 18th point off of a Sparks turnover. Wnba the crossover. Wnba rejected there by Boston. Here's Mitchell, always dangerous with the ball in her hands. Finds Boston's free throw line. Boston against Wnba. Jump hook, gets the soft bounce.
The defining moment arrived so late you could have blinked and missed it. With just 1.9 seconds remaining and Los Angeles desperate for one final shot, Boston saw it coming before it happened. She jumped the play, reached in with perfect timing, and ripped the ball away, ending the game right then and there. No chaos, no last-second scramble, just a superstar closing the door with authority and reminding everyone why she's the anchor of this team.
He hands it off to Jackson. Jackson uses the screen, lost the handle, bounce pass to Plum. Plum loses it, regains it, throws it up for grabs. Grabbed by Boston out of the sky, and we're going to have a foul here. No, a timeout taken by Indiana.
Right after that play, all eyes shifted to her. The cameras zoomed in, microphones appeared, and reporters started asking how this team managed to fight their way through such a tough game. That's when her words began to ripple out. Her post-game quote became the moment everyone wanted to talk about. Fans, analysts, and even her teammates were asking the same thing. What exactly did she mean by that?
But tonight you guys showed resilience, coming back and just having that great floater for the win. Can you guys just talk about the camaraderie, everything that's happened with the team, the injuries, and just how you guys have been able to coalesce as one cohesive unit despite all of everything that's happened?
Yeah, honestly, I think from the start of our season, we've talked about a season's not going to be perfect, and if something happens, next woman up. And I feel like that's really been the story of our season. With everything that's happened, people we've added, no matter how late in the season, it's been next woman up.
The answer she gave was simple, but it struck a chord. Boston praised the Fever for embracing a true next woman up mentality. The belief that when one player struggles or goes down, everyone else steps up even stronger. And it wasn't just something she said for the cameras. She had just lived it on the court, shouldering a huge workload while still trusting her teammates to make plays in the biggest moments. Beyond Boston's performance, this entire game felt like proof of what Indiana is building. A culture where no one hides from the moment, and every player is ready to answer when their name is called.
We have a deep team that a lot of people, a lot of players on our team could be playing and they're not. And that's a tribute to our depth, certainly, but also sometimes everybody wants to play, right? And I think the selfless nature of this group just can't be overstated. And that's why we're able to be in positions like this that we're able to be in.
Think about Lexi Hull for a moment. Face still bruised, eyes darkened from that hard collision in the last game. And yet she never hesitated. She fought through screens, threw herself on the floor for loose balls, and defended like her team's season depended on it. Then there's Aerial Powers, coming off the bench and igniting the offense, playing with a burst of energy that made it seem like nothing could slow her down. Put all those moments together, and you can literally see Boston's message unfolding in real time. Her leadership has become the glue holding Indiana steady. Sure, the points and steals show up in the box score, but her true impact goes beyond stats. When she says, "Next woman up," it's not just a slogan, it's a standard. It tells the whole roster that no injury, no losing streak, no tough break will define them. It's a belief that whoever steps on the floor is not just filling space. They belong there, and they can finish what was started.
Sims. They kick it out, hole of 3.
Big bucket from Lexi Hull.
And that identity is worth far more than just a few post-game sound bites. Indiana's win in Los Angeles wasn't just another tally in the standings. It cemented them in 6th place for now, giving them breathing room over Seattle and pushing the Sparks even further behind. Suddenly, a playoff berth feels much more within reach. And it's not because of luck or one miracle shot at the buzzer. It's because this team has fully bought into the mindset Boston laid out. a collective belief that every player matters, every possession counts, and together they can control their own destiny.
On the hit ahead. Looking for Howard's short corner. Attacking against.
Okay.
Oh, what a spin move there. Spin cycle, rinse everything there from Natasha Howard.
From here, though, the focus shifts once more. Everyone just witnessed Boston's leadership on full display, but now the conversation inevitably circles back to the one star who still hasn't returned. The name fans can't stop talking about, Caitlin Clark. Her absence has been felt for weeks, 17 straight games missed with that stubborn groin injury. But now, there's finally a flicker of optimism. For the first time in what feels like forever, she's back in practice gear, joining team shoot-arounds, moving through pre-game warm-ups, and looking closer to her old self. It's not quite game action yet, but this is the most encouraging sign since the moment she went down, and it has the entire fan base buzzing with anticipation. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. Indiana has just 5 games left on the regular season schedule, and every single one feels like it could swing the playoff picture. Right now, they sit in 6th place, barely half a game ahead of Seattle, and no one in that locker room feels safe. One slip, one bad night, and they could tumble in the standings. But the flip side is just as powerful, the chance to gain momentum when it matters most. If Caitlin Clark can make her return, everything changes instantly. Imagine it. She's back on the court going through shooting drills, draining threes, running through offensive sets, taking contact in light scrimmages while the coaching staff watches her every step like hawks, praying for no setbacks. The energy shifts the moment she steps out there. Teammates steal glances, fans lean forward, the entire gym feels charged. It's cautious optimism, though everyone knows that pushing her too soon could end the season entirely. That's the razor-thin line Indiana's staff is walking right now, balancing the need for wins with protecting the star who could make them dangerous in the playoffs.
You know, it wasn't ideal in terms of how the game was. It was ugly. We had moments where we were better than others, but we dug in. I mean, when you think about key defensive stops, key offensive rebounds, like AB's key offensive rebound there at the end, you know, making plays, deflections that led to steals or deflections that led to bobbled passes, just the sense of urgency that we played with in those last minutes through some gray area, right? Through some times when it wasn't perfect, and you know, it was a gut check time, and our team stepped up to the challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yet, look at what this team just pulled off tonight. They went into a building where they hadn't beaten this opponent all year and stole a game, without their brightest star on the floor. That alone is an achievement. Now picture what happens when Caitlin Clark is back in the lineup. Before her injury, she was averaging 19 points and 8 assists per game, not just scoring, but controlling the entire rhythm of Indiana's offense. She set the pace, created driving lanes for Boston, and delivered clean looks for shooters like Kelsey Mitchell. Those numbers aren't empty stats. They completely change how opposing defenses game plan for the Fever. This win proved Indiana can survive without her, but adding Clark's playmaking back into the mix turns them into something far more dangerous. Suddenly, the question isn't just whether they can hang on to a playoff spot. It's whether they can make real noise once they get there. The risk of re-aggravating that groin injury still looms, and timing is tight with the postseason just days away. But if Clark returns at the right moment, Indiana could go from scrappy survivors to legitimate contenders almost overnight.
Good job, ladies! I'm really proud of you guys. That was an ugly, hard-fought win. Hard-fought win. And listen, we know that we didn't play our best basketball, and in those moments where we needed a stop, or we needed a big bucket, like that you don't teach. And y'all got it. And y'all got it. So again, marrying our energy effort with our execution. Okay, that's our journey. But this is a hard win right here. I'm proud of you guys. Great job. Together, 3, 1, 2, 3. Together.
That's why tonight's win feels so much bigger than what shows up in the box score. It wasn't just about getting through another game. It was about sending a message. With every sign pointing to Caitlin Clark inching closer to a return, it feels like this season is only just beginning. Beating the Sparks wasn't about scraping by or merely surviving. It was about proving this team can set the stage for something much bigger. This wasn't just a victory for Indiana. It was evidence that they can fight through adversity, survive without their star, and still find ways to thrive when the pressure is highest. Every possession was played with grit. Every hustle play reminded fans that this team refuses to fold when it matters most. And now, with Clark looking closer than ever to suiting up again, the Fever no longer look like a team just hanging on. They look like a group that's learning how to finish games under fire. That kind of growth is priceless, the kind that builds playoff teams and future champions. For Fever fans, hope isn't just alive, it's surging. Tonight felt like a preview of what 2025 could hold. And if this team is already winning games like this without their star guard, just imagine the ceiling when she's back. If you're pumped for the Fever, drop a big Fever win tonight in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. And if you want to stay hyped, click the video on your screen right now. We'll see you there for even more Fever coverage.